Okay, everybody, welcome to our factoring lesson, all right? We're going to start off factoring a regular trinomial, and we're going to try to make it into a diamond problem so that we could do this very visually, nice and easy, all right? So the first thing is we need to make two numbers that multiply up to 30, all right? I made my arrow a little too long. So we need two numbers that multiply up to 30, but they have to add up to negative 13. So what numbers could those be? Well, let's check our list of numbers that multiply up to 30, all right? We got 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 10 times 3. So it looks like 10 times 3, right? 10 times 3, they both make 30, but they don't add up to negative 13 unless make them both negative, because a negative times a negative makes positive. So I could go ahead and factor this polynomial now. X, and in here, you want to put these two numbers that we just got, all right? We got minus 10, so here you put minus 10. And over here, you're going to put your minus 3. And it's factored now. That's it. That's the end of it. If you want to practice, you can multiply this out and do your FOIL, all right? This times that and that times that. Add it all up, and you're going to see that you get what we started with. You're going to see that you get this polynomial that we started with all the way at the beginning, all right? Let's practice another one, all right? Let's keep going. So on this one, we need two numbers that multiply up to make positive 12, but that they add up to negative 8, all right? Well, looks to me like it's 6 and 2, right? 6 times 2 equal positive 12, but if we're going to get negative 8, these both have to be negative, right? And actually the truth is that whenever this number on top is positive and that number is negative on bottom, these both have to be negative, all right? Whenever this is positive but that's negative, both of these numbers are going to be negative, all right? And then we just factor it as n minus 6 times n minus 2. And this should feel like review for most of you guys, all right? Hopefully you're not getting this for the first time. So stick with me. I'm going to let you guys practice number 35, all right? Go ahead. I'll wait for you. And I hope you got it right. Let's check, see what you got. All right, you should have b minus 2 times b minus 6. I could probably make this a little bigger too, huh? All right, so we should have b squared minus 8b plus 12 equals b minus 2 times b minus 6. And sorry if the rest of the video has been kind of small, all right? We'll be shooting like this from now on. So, all right. Check number 36 real quick, all right? Try to multiply it out. Go ahead, hit pause, try to get it for yourself, all right? Don't just copy the answer. And let's see if you got it. All right, you should have n plus 1 times n minus 9, all right? So that's good news if you got it so far, all right? If not, if you're still not with us, we have one more example to practice with, okay? So go ahead, hit pause, and practice this example. And now I hope you're done. So let's see if you got x minus 4 times x plus 3, all right? That should be what you got at the end there, guys. $38, all right? You guys going to practice? Go ahead, practice. Take a break. I'm going to sit here, and I'll actually work this one out with you this time, all right? Hit pause. And we're back. So let's do this problem together, right? We need two numbers that multiply up to negative 28, all right? But they're going to add up to 3, all right? So I don't know if you guys know add up to that multiply to 28. 1 and 28, that's pretty good. That's a good one, all right? You have 2 and 14 also make 28, but a more common one that we use like all the time is 7 times 4, all right? And so I know 7 times 4 make 28. But if it's negative, one of them has to be negative. But they're going to make a positive 3. So which one is the negative? The negative is going to have to be 4. Because if I add 7 to negative 4, we get positive 3. So we should have r plus 7. And since this is negative, you should have r minus 4. All right? Good good factoring practice we're having. All right, let's see how many more factoring problems we got. All right, go ahead. Try this one. Press pause and practice it. I hope you guys are pressing pause. I'm just really standing here, and I'm going to press the button. All right, so there you go. X minus 10 times X minus 7. So there we go. I hope you got that one, all right? You see these multiply up to positive 70, but they add up to negative 17, all right? After a while, I'm sure you guys will be able to get the answers without making the diamond. You'll be able to just write V, parentheses V, and you'll be like, man, I need two numbers that multiply up to 14, but they add up to negative 5. Well, I know one of them's negative and one of them's positive, so let's just put a plus here and a minus here, because they're going to multiply up to something negative, right? So one has to be positive and the other one has to be negative, all right? Well, they're going to add up to negative 5, though. So I know the 7 has to be negative and the 2 has to be positive, okay? That's what I'm saying. Eventually, it's possible to do this without making the diamond, all right? There's not much of a difference, right? If you make the diamond, you're still thinking the same reasoning that you're going to put down here, all right? The difference is that it organizes your numbers for you a little bit and makes sure that you can kind of see everything you're thinking about. So let's see how much we got left, all right? Let's try this one. It's a little different than what you're used to, all right? Because now we have nothing over here on this side, all right? There's no number in the back. So you can still do those with a diamond, by the way. They have to multiply up to 0. Two numbers that multiply up to 0. All right, whatever, let's do it. And they have to add up to negative 4. So two numbers that add up to 0, but they multiply to negative 4. Well, if they multiply to 0, then doesn't that mean that one of them has to be 0? All right. If they add up to negative 4, what do you have to take from 0 to get negative 4? You have to subtract 4. So I'm going to have B minus this number, and that's 0. So B minus 0, that's kind of weird, but we'll deal with that later. And this is B minus what? B minus 4, all right? Well, B minus 0 is really just B. So the best way to factor it is B times B minus 4, all right? A lot of people might have just seen that every term has a B in it, so they will just factor out a B. You don't have to use a diamond to do this, but hey, look, it works. So it doesn't hurt you. So it's up to you the way you want to do this. If you want to do it just by grouping and looking at it, hey, you can do that too, all right? So let's try this one, all right? I'm going to let you try 42. Press pause right now and try this one, all right? And we're back. So let's try it out. You guys should have realize that every term has a K in it, so we could pull out a K. And we see what has to be left in there to get K squared. Oh, this has to be a K, because K times K is K squared. Well, I want to get a minus K here. So what can I multiply K times that will give me a minus K right there? Oh, I have to have a 1, right? If I multiply that out, I'm going to get K squared minus K, all right? So the way you factor it is K times K minus 1. And again, you could use the diamond if you want. I would never reach for the diamond to do this kind of problem because it's just not necessary, all right? But if you want to do it, go ahead, all right? So now we're getting harder ones, okay? It looks like we found a super diamond, kind of, right? Well, here we go. The truth is that we don't need to make a super diamond right now, okay? Instead of making the super diamond that we'll study when we get there, all right? Right now, we're going to learn how to factor out a common term from everything, okay? So we see that this is just 4 times 1. 4 is 4 times 1, right? And 28 is 4 times 7. 48 is 4 times 12. So, really, we could pull out a 4 in front of all of these. Pull out a 4, and now what we're going to do is make sure that we have coefficients so that when I multiply 4 times something, I'll get 4n squared. Well, that means I just have n squared, right? So the coefficient is 1. But what's the coefficient of n? What do I multiply n by? If I multiply it by 4, that'll give me 28 of them. I need to have 7n, all right? Because 4 times 7 makes 28, all right? And for this last one, I'm going to add what? I'm going to add something that if I multiply it times 4, I'm going to get 48. And we see that's 4 times 12. So right here goes 12, all right? Now, it's not a super diamond anymore. Now, it's just a regular diamond problem, all right? Now, we just have to get n, blank, and n, and then we factored it all the way that we could, all right? So let's make our diamond real fast, right? We need two numbers that multiply up to 12, but they add up to 7. All right? How are we going to get that? What two numbers multiply up to 12? So we got 1 times 12. We got 2 times 6. And we got 4 times 3. Ah, there it goes, right? What's 4 plus 3? 7. And 4 times 3 is 12, right? So we just put our numbers in here. n plus 4 and n plus 3. All right? This should be able to help you solve any problems where what we call is a common factor, okay? All of these terms have a common factor, and the common factor is 4. So that's why you can pull the 4 out, okay? On problems where there's not a common factor, you really don't want to go dividing out a number, because then that's going to create fractions inside here and makes it a little more difficult, okay? So be careful. Make sure you only factor out when you have a common factor in every single term. So the only reason I pull out a 4 is because everything has a 4 in it, okay? So go ahead and try to factor out the common term of 44. I'll wait for you. All right, press pause and solve it. Let's see if you got it. All right, let's see what you did. So we see this is 3 times 1. This is 3 times 7. I hope this is 3 times something. Oh, look. 3 times 6. So we have a common factor in all the terms. It's 3. So I can pull out a 3, and I know that's going to give me x squared plus 7x, because I need to make 21x, and 3 times 7 makes 21. Last, I have to have something here that if I multiply it by 3, I get 18, but look, it's 6, okay? So that's the number that we have to, this is the polynomial we can use our diamond problem for now, right? You have to multiply up to 6 and add up to 7. So what does that? But 1 and 6 do, right? 1 times 6 is 6, but 1 plus 6 is 7. So we're going to factor this as 3 times x plus 1 times x plus 6. All right, good job if you got that one by yourself. Okay, let's try one more of these factoring problems, all right? So go ahead, try this one. I will wait for you. Press pause right now. And we're back, so let's do it. Pull out, this is 3 times 1, 3 times 6 again, right? 81. Now, you might not be ready for this, but it's 3 times 27, all right? And if you see that, then you'll see that there's a common factor, and they're all 3. So, we have 3 times a cubed, because 3 times a cubed makes 3a cubed. Now I want something that if I multiply it times 3, it'll give me 18a squared. But look, it's 6a squared. And now I need something that if I multiply it times 27, times 3, I'm going to get 81. So it has to be 27, right? So 27a, all right? This problem's not done. Do you see anything else that everything has in it? Look, everything has at least one a. So I can factor out an a too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to take an a out of here. And now everything is going to have its exponent decrease by 1. So this is going to be a squared. So that if I multiply 3a times it, I get a cubed. This is going to be 6a. So that if I multiply 3a times it, I get 18a squared. And this is going to be 27. So that when I multiply a times it, I get 81a. The problem actually isn't done yet. All right, now we actually get to use our diamond. Okay. So let's do our diamond. We need two numbers that multiply to negative 27 and add up to 6. All right. And if your first guess is 9 times 3, you're doing pretty good. Now you just have to say which one is the negative one. And since 6 is positive, we know that then 3 has to be negative, right? 9 minus 3 is 6. So we have 3a, and now these are the factors of this polynomial right here. So we have a, and what numbers go in here? These numbers, right? So we got plus 9 and minus 3. So the final form of this problem is that 3a times a plus 9 times a minus 3. All right, and that's the end of this factoring problem. Now we finally got to the end there. And let's go ahead. You guys start this problem right now. All right, this is going to be your last example. Hit pause and practice it on your own. All right, take a. All right, and we're back. Let's see if you got it. Well, the first thing I would do is I would notice there's an r squared. This is r squared. This is 8r times r squared. This has an r squared. This is 4r times r squared, right? And this is just 252 times r squared, just so we can see it, right? So we see, look, everything has an r squared. So what are we going to factor out? R squared. And everything else is just going to kind of get copied over. So we have 4r, right? You see that we're writing the part that is what remains, right? Minus 8r minus 252. All right? And now, do you guys see any more common factors? This is 4 times 1. We're in blue right now. That's 4 times 1, and this is 4 times 2. But 252, what's half of 252? That's 125, 126, right? 126 is half of 252. And what's half of 126? 63. So we know that 4 times 63 equals 252, right? So let's factor out a 4. Look, we have a common factor of 4. 4 and 4. So we could factor out the whole 4. So we're going to have 4r squared now in front. And we see the only things that are going to be left are the numbers that aren't circled. So we're going to have 1r. We're going to have minus 2r. And then we're going to have minus 63. Alright? And now we have a diamond problem. Okay? We need two numbers that multiply up to negative 63. But they add up to negative 2. Okay? So it's 9 and 7, of course. Which one is negative? Has to be the bigger one, right? So that we have negative 2. So this equals your 4r squared. And let's do our two binomials right here. And what goes in here? We got r minus 9 and r plus 7. Alright? You could find more examples of how to do this on the internet, on the computer. Alright? I loaded the videos up on here like I said I would, but you guys have to study like you said you would. Alright? So have fun searching the internet for factoring problems and everything. I hope I helped you out a little bit. Sorry that videos got on here so late, guys. But have fun studying, alright? See you guys.